Hi, my name is Kirsten Foss and I'm a business coach for the spa industry. So for the past few videos, I've been talking about how to leverage an already busy schedule for the month of December, because that's typically a much busier time of year for us. I've also talked about how to kind of keep the momentum going from a busy December into hopefully a busy January. But what happens if you and your spa are kind of quiet in December? And that's kind of unusual. And so what you want to know is, what can you be doing when you thought you'd be a lot busier? Okay, let's get started on that. So for the first point I'd like to make, this has to do with how you're scheduling clients. And what I'm suggesting is that you try to book clients as close together as possible, so that rather than having a 9 a.m. For an hour and then having an hour break, and then you've got another facial at 11, and then you've got some peppered services in the afternoon. When you are booking, it's a little late now when everything is already booked, but when you're booking from this point forward, try to group people together, so that you don't have all these gaps through your day. Now, the point I'm trying to make with this is that what it will do for you, it will allow you, is like, if you get to this day and you're not fully booked, but you have, say, most of your clients booked either in the morning, or maybe they're mostly booked in the afternoon or midday, that means there's actually some space to time block. Now, time block is a method to use in your productivity. It really, really helps you to have enough time to get some of the things on your to-do list done. Because if you've only got a half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour in between clients, it's really not enough to get everything out, dive in, and get focused on it. It's just not enough time. So that first point about booking clients together is to set you up so that you can have time to work on things if you get to the day and it's not that busy. This will also help you if you have staff, like if you do this for your staff, so that you can control some of your payroll costs. So, if somebody doesn't need to come in at 9 o'clock and they can come in at 10 or 11 instead, you can suggest that for a team member. The other thing is that you could use the time blocking to give them some tasks to take off your plate, if that's possible, so that they're still there, they're still working, they're still making money, but they are helping taking some of the weight off of you. Maybe there's some things at the spa that just you haven't had a chance to get done, as far as extra cleaning or merchandising or organizing files. All of that, there's all sorts of stuff that need to be little projects that could be done with the help of staff. Okay, number 2, if you get to your day and it is not busy, even if you're expecting it to be, now it's time to get cracking on some of your admin work. And this is if you are able to get that time blocking done so that you can pull out your work and do it. So I'm always a big proponent, if I'm not busy, I'm working on my marketing, because that's the perfect time to be working on my marketing. So, but the thing is that in order for time blocking to work for you, you need to turn off all your distractions. You have no idea how much time your distractions are eating away at your success. I'm talking about your social media distractions, those alerts. I'm talking about your email. I'm talking about text messages. I'm talking about phone calls. When you need to get things done, when you need to be focused, you have to turn that stuff off. Otherwise, you are just allowing your distractions to rule your business. Okay, honestly, you'll be shocked at how much you can get done when you turn these things off. And here's the kicker: you have to also be mentally tough in order to not be tempted to go checking for those things. I think those distractions, social media, email, checking text messages, all that kind of stuff, it's almost like a habit. And we have to be aware of that habit, because it's not a healthy habit for us or our business. So that when we are tempted, and if we're in the middle of trying to work on a little project, and that little niggling is like, oh, I'm just going to go check and see if any emails came in. Maybe there's some bookings. oh, that's a slippery slope, because you know when you're checking emails, then you're going to start checking social media, and then you're down the rabbit hole. Okay, so turn off your notifications. If you're not busy in the spa, you need to be super focused, and those notifications are taking time away from that. Number 3, so if you are feeling like it's not busy and it should be, I want you to review what actually has worked in the past year, or maybe the last 2 years, and what didn't work. But I really want you to focus on the stuff that did work. Even if it didn't work as well as you thought it would be, there's always little pieces of beautiful success when we try something. So say you tried email marketing, and you didn't really get the response you thought, and maybe you even had an unsubscribe, but maybe you did have 2 people emailing back to you saying that, oh, thanks for the email, you reminded me to book an appointment. So this is a perfect example of taking a look at what worked and what didn't, and doing some minor adjustments and course corrections to make it even better. So the gold in that situation is that she had 2 people calling to book appointments. That could be some significant revenues just from one email. But if you were focusing on the negative part, that you had an unsubscribe and you didn't get as many opens as you thought you should, then it's really easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater and then be throwing away an opportunity that actually was starting to work. You just needed to maybe learn more about copywriting, learn more about email marketing and what to expect as far as open rates and unsubscribes. And all of a sudden, you may have a little bit of a different perspective on email marketing because you did get 2 bookings out of it. And maybe you just need to learn a little bit more about the techniques and nuances of email marketing to make it better. Okay, so take a look at what worked and focus on that and see where you could adjust, tweak, learn some more to make it better. What I see most spa owners doing is looking for the next shiny, wow, silver bullet, especially for marketing. I'm going to tell you, there is not one. And what there is, though, is there is us diving into entrepreneurship, putting on our leadership caps, and going in deeper into what we already know about our business. We don't need to go wide in what we know. We need to start going much deeper. Okay, last piece of advice for you to help you get through this December if it's not so busy. Now, instead of making a to-do list, make a priority list. One of the best books I've read this year was Gary Keller's The One Thing. If you haven't read that already, you must read that. It is a game changer when it comes to being productive in your business, when it comes to setting those big goals that seem really big, and then stacking action on action on action so that you are able to get to that goal. Now, talking about making a priority list rather than a to-do list is right from Gary's book. And it was one of those moments when I read it where I was like, oh yeah, a success list, not a to-do list, because we all know that we can make a very, very long make busy list and really not get anything accomplished and really not see any kind of effect to our business from it. So when you sit down and take a look at your to-do list, I want you to make a priority list from that instead. What is it from that list that you could make a priority that by actioning that out would actually make any other work either unnecessary or you only need to do a little bit of work to make it happen? So I think that's a pretty strong perspective change for a lot of entrepreneurs, is having a success list rather than a to-do list. And it all has to do with prioritizing. Now, when I'm saying prioritizing, you can't have like 3 priorities. That's called multitasking and it doesn't work. You have to have one priority. So that is my help for you if you are not busy in the month of December, to start booking clients closer together so you can start time blocking when you're not busy at work. Turn off your distractions when you are getting down to brass tacks with your admin work. Review what worked and what didn't in your business when you're thinking about marketing, when you're thinking about onboarding new staff, when you're thinking about new ideas for your business. Sometimes you don't have to come up with something completely new. And finally, make a priority list, not a to-do list, and decide what is that number one priority. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time for some more spa business tips.